And welcome back to another episode of the Real Conversations podcast. I'm your host, Jacob O'Connor. Real Conversations podcast for those dedicated to doing hard things and living a meaningful life. This week's episode is going to be a shorter one. You may have noticed I'm uploading it pretty late into the week. I missed my normal cadence. I questioned even uploading in the first place, but I've just been getting messages from people and even had a conversation this morning with a gentleman. And I think I realized this podcast is impacting more people directly than maybe I had anticipated, or, when you're sitting by yourself recording, you don't think about these things too much. And I had a conversation specifically this morning where it was like, okay, people are seeing this, they're getting value out of it. And I wasn't going to record this week. I've been kind of going through some things that I haven't enjoyed too much and just wanted to take a week off. But after that conversation and after kind of thinking about my commitment to documenting the journey, both the ups and the downs, I felt like it'd be important to just put out an episode and to address that that's normal. We're all going to go through things in life. We're all going to have challenges. We're all going to face adversity, and we're going to have to weather that storm. It's important to remember that this is a journey. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And it is important to address that, like, these things happen. If you're listening to a business podcast and it's only business concepts and you're learning about how to run and operate a business, you're listening to a health and wellness podcast and they're giving you workout tips and dietary tips, that misses a piece of it, in my opinion. Like, all of this runs together. When you have things pop up that potentially can knock you off your game, that affects your business, that affects your health, that affects everything. And I think it's important to just address and to shed light on the fact that we're all going to have things that pop up in our life. And it's important in those times that you have a good support group around you. You've got people that care about you and have your best interests in mind. And so I just wanted to share this episode because I know that a lot of you guys listening to the podcast and watching, you're younger than me. You're trying to build something of your own. You're trying to build something of significance. And that's a long journey. That's a difficult journey. And there's going to be trying times. There's going to be tribulations that you have to endure. And so I wanted to share this and just let you guys know, like, you're not alone. Keep going. Consistency is one of the most important things in this. When you don't feel like doing the thing, that's when you need to do it. You still need to execute, even when you're not feeling motivated. John and I talked about in our last episode the importance of endurance, what that word meant to us, the ability to keep executing even when you don't feel like doing it. That is so key. Because what happens, in my opinion, is you have something pop up that throws you off your game, it puts you into a different headspace. You want to start slipping. You want to start letting up on your standards. You want to give in to this friction, this resistance. You want to let those things start to take over, and you want to slide into a bit of laziness. And what happens then is you lose your momentum and you actually gain negative momentum, and you keep rolling downhill. You keep spiraling. And it's so important to avoid that because you can get to a pretty low spot that you have to dig yourself out of. And in my opinion, what's been important is even when you don't feel like it, just doing your best to maintain that consistency and that routine, making sure that you're still working out, that you're still eating right, that you're getting as much sleep as you can, that you have a good support group around you, and that you're executing on the things that truly matter to your life, even when you don't feel like it. And then if you keep doing that over enough time, eventually things will change. Opportunities will come. You'll start to feel better about situations. You'll be able to look back on whatever you were going through and see the silver lining of it. And potentially you'll feel more confident because you realize that through that, you've learned more about yourself and that you're coming back stronger. They won't last forever. Better times are always coming. And yeah, I know I'm confident while I'm recording this episode that I'm going to have awesome episodes coming up. I'm going to have a lot of great memories coming up. I'm going to hit a great stride. And it's just important to document this whole journey. That's what I set out to do. And it's not just the wins, but I do this so that hopefully people coming up that are on this journey, that are a couple steps behind me on the ladder, that they can see this and maybe normalizes things for them, maybe gives them more confidence. And all those things are really important to me. I actually had a conversation with a gentleman this morning that I didn't even realize listened to the podcast. And he was just telling me he gets a lot of value out of it. So it's things like that that kind of keep me going, realizing that, I might actually be doing some good. That can be reassuring. So I appreciate you guys. I think there's a pretty cool community forming around the podcast. I'm excited to keep going with it. Yeah, that's really all I've got. Just keep going, push through, stay consistent, allow those consistencies to compound. And I'll see you guys next week.